The number is $2,150. That is not a lottery prize. That is not a credit card bonus. That is the current maximum amount the U.S. Department of Transportation says an airline may owe you if you are involuntarily bumped from an oversold flight and you arrive late enough at your destination. 4 times the one-way fare, capped at $2,150. Now here's the part the airlines do not exactly print on the napkin under your $19 airport sandwich. If you do not know the rule, they may offer you a voucher with blackout dates, fine print, and a little smile that says, "Take it or leave it." And a lot of people take it. Not because they are dumb. No. Most travelers are smart, especially folks who have handled Medicare paperwork, Social Security letters, property tax bills, 401k statements, IRA withdrawals, and the IRS in April. You know how systems work, but airports are designed to make you tired, rushed, hungry, and just confused enough to give up. That is what this video is really about. Airport secrets they do not want us to know. Not conspiracy stuff. Not tinfoil hat nonsense. Just the rules, timing tricks, seat tricks, app tricks, and little airport habits that can save you money, stress, and sometimes your whole trip. And if you want more practical travel breakdowns like this, the kind that help you keep more money in your pocket instead of handing it to airlines, airport restaurants, and travel companies, go ahead and subscribe now. I am putting together a follow-up on the airport fees most travelers overpay without even noticing. First off, let's talk about the best flight of the day. If you can handle it, book the early bird. I am talking 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. Not because anyone enjoys setting an alarm while the raccoons are still out, but because the first flights of the morning are usually your best shot at beating the domino effect. Here's the thing. By 3 p.m., your airplane may already have flown from Dallas to Denver, Denver to Phoenix, Phoenix to Las Vegas, and now it is supposed to come get you in Chicago. One thunderstorm, one missing crew member, one mechanical issue, and boom, your flight is now part of somebody else's bad day. But that 6:45 a.m. flight? A lot of the time, that plane slept at the airport overnight. It is sitting there already. Crew scheduling is cleaner. Air traffic is lighter. Lines are shorter. And like one smart viewer pointed out, getting to the airport for an early flight can actually be easier. Less traffic. Cheaper rideshare sometimes. Parking garages not quite as wild. Now, do early flights always run on time? Of course not. Weather still wins. Mechanical problems still happen. But you are playing the odds. Same way you do not go to Costco at 2 p.m. on a Saturday and expect peace. You go early, you get your rotisserie chicken, and you get out with your dignity. Next, security. Nobody tells you this, but when you walk into TSA and see 5 lanes open, do not automatically follow the crowd. Look left. Most people are right-handed. Most people drift right, and when people are stressed, they follow the middle, the crowd, the obvious lane. It is human nature, so the far left line is often worth checking first. Now, this is not magic. Do not email me saying, "I went left in Newark and waited behind a family with 6 bins and a stroller." I believe you. But over time, left side lanes and less obvious lanes can save you a few minutes. And a few minutes matters. Especially when you are trying to avoid that terrible little airport jog where your belt is half on, your shoes are in your hand, and your gate is somehow in another zip code. Here is another security trick. If you have TSA pre-check, still check the regular line before you commit. Sometimes pre-check gets backed up because every business traveler in America decided to fly at the same time. And if you have mobility issues, medical devices, or you just need extra help at screening, TSA Cares says travelers can contact them ahead of time, ideally 72 hours before travel, to ask questions or request support. That is not weakness. That is using the system properly. Now let's talk seats, because this is where airlines make a lot of quiet money. The smoothest ride on most planes is usually over the wing. Why? Physics. That area is closest to the plane's center of lift and center of gravity. When turbulence hits, the back of the plane moves more. Think of a school bus going over a bump. The folks in the back feel it more than the folks near the middle. So if bumps bother you, or your back complains more loudly than it used to, try for a seat over the wing. Exit rows can be good for legroom, but be careful. Some exit row seats do not recline. Some seats near exit doors have a bulky door slide or a little box that steals your foot space. Ugh, and if you love a window seat, make sure it actually has a window. I know that sounds ridiculous, but some aircraft have window seats where the wall is just a blank panel. You paid for clouds and got drywall. Also, avoid the last few rows if you can. That is where you get bathroom traffic, galley noise, flight attendants opening drawers, passengers stretching, and the occasional mystery smell that nobody wants to investigate. Now, an important update. A lot of travelers used to use SeatGuru, but SeatGuru has shut down, and newer tools like Seat Maps, Aerolopa, Expert Flyer, and SeatMaestro are filling that gap. I would not trust any one tool blindly. Use your airline's seat map, then cross-check with one of those tools. Look for 3 things: limited recline, missing windows, and under-seat equipment boxes. Those 3 can turn a normal seat into a 2-hour argument with your knees. And speaking of seat changes, let's clear up Southwest. For years, people said Southwest has open seating. That used to be true. But Southwest's own customer information now says they transitioned to assigned seating on January 27, 2026, with new boarding groups instead of the old A, B, C positions. So if someone gives you old Southwest advice, be careful. Travel tips have expiration dates, just like milk. Now, here is where you start beating the airline at its own information game. Download a third-party flight tracker. FlightAware, Flight Radar 24. Even the airline app, yes, but do not depend only on the airline app. Why? Because airlines are often slow to tell passengers bad news. Sometimes the flight tracker knows your inbound plane is still sitting in Atlanta while the gate screen at your airport cheerfully says on time. That is not a small detail. If you know your plane is late before everyone else knows, you can call, chat, or use the app to rebook before 140 other people stampede the customer service desk. Here is my little routine. The night before a flight, I check the aircraft's inbound route. In the morning, I check it again before leaving home. If my plane is already delayed 2 cities back, I start looking at backup options. I do not wait for the gate agent to announce it like it is breaking news from 1978. And please put the airline app on your phone before the trip. Log in, add your reservation, add your known traveler number if you have one. Save your credit card. Make sure your spouse or travel partner has access too. The worst time to remember your password is while a flight is canceled and your phone is at 9%. This brings us to the big one, your rights. If a flight is oversold, the airline usually asks for volunteers first. That part is legal. And if you're flexible, volunteering can be a good deal. But do not jump at the first offer. Ask 3 questions. First, when is the confirmed replacement flight? Not standby, confirmed. Second, will you provide meals, hotel, and transportation if the delay is overnight? Third, is this compensation cash, check, electronic payment, or a voucher? And if it is a voucher, what are the restrictions? Because a $700 voucher that expires, cannot be used on certain fares, cannot be combined, and gets trapped in your account is not the same as $700 in real money. Now, if they bump you involuntarily, that is a different conversation. The dot says eligible passengers must be given written rights. For certain longer delays, the compensation can be 400% of the one-way fare, capped at $2,150 and $150. And DOT says airlines must offer that compensation at the airport the same day, unless they put you on substitute transportation before they can pay, in which case they have 24 hours. So the sentence you want is simple. Am I being involuntarily denied boarding, and what is the denied boarding compensation under DOT rules? Say it calmly. Do not yell. Do not threaten. Do not become the person everyone films. Just use the words. And here's the middle of the video favor I am asking. If this has already taught you one thing that could save you money on your next trip, hit the like button so this video reaches another traveler before they get handed a worthless voucher. That one click might help someone else avoid getting scammed at the gate. Now, refunds. This is where people get confused because they hear pieces of rules on the news. The current DOT passenger information says if an airline cancels your flight, or significantly delays or changes it, and you do not accept the alternative flight voucher, credit, or other compensation, you are entitled to a refund. For credit cards, the refund is supposed to be processed within 7 business days once it is due. For other payment methods, it is about 20 days. But notice the key phrase, if you do not accept the alternative. If you take the replacement flight, you generally do not also get a full refund for the flight you took. That would be nice. That would also be a fantasy. Also, do not mix up refund with extra compensation. A refund means you get your money back when you do not travel under the changed arrangement. Extra compensation for meals, hotels, or inconvenience depends on the airline, the cause, and its customer service commitments. Weather is different from a maintenance problem. A cancellation in the airline's control is different from a thunderstorm that shuts down the whole East Coast. The hack here is to decide what you want before you talk to the airline. If you want to get home tonight, ask for rebooking. If the trip is ruined and you do not want to travel, say, "I am not accepting the alternative, I want a refund to the original form of payment." Original form of payment. Those words matter. Now luggage. Put a tracker in your checked bag. AirTag, Tile, whatever works with your phone. This is not paranoia. This is 2026 common sense. United announced that customers can securely share an AirTag or Find My Network item location with United customer service through the United app when a bag is delayed. That is a big deal. Because for years, travelers knew exactly where their bag was, and the airline acted like the suitcase had entered the witness protection program. Still, do not pack medicine, house keys, hearing aid chargers, glasses, important documents, or your cruise boarding papers in checked luggage. Keep that stuff with you. Your checked bag should never contain anything you need in the first 24 hours. And take pictures. Take a picture of the outside of your bag. Take a picture of the contents before you close it. Take a picture of the baggage tag. If the bag disappears, you now have evidence instead of trying to describe a medium black suitcase to someone who has already heard that 600 times today. Next, power banks. This one can ruin your day fast. The FAA's PackSafe guidance says spare lithium batteries and power banks must go in carry-on baggage only, not checked bags, not buried in the suitcase that gets gate checked. If they make you gate check your roller bag, pull out the power bank first. Most normal power banks are under 100 watt-hours, and those are generally allowed in carry-on. Larger ones from 101 to 160 watt-hours need airline approval, and there are quantity limits. Over that, you may be in nope territory. And one viewer made a smart point. Do not charge a device from a power bank while it is stuffed inside a bag. Keep it visible. If it overheats, expands, smokes, or smells wrong, the crew needs to know immediately. Lithium battery fires are no joke. Now let's talk about peace and quiet, because airports are designed to drain your brain. Most people sit right at the gate facing the big windows, the TV, the boarding crowd, the crying toddler, the guy eating tuna salad at 8 a.m., and the loudspeaker yelling about unattended bags every 4 minutes. Then they wonder why they feel exhausted before boarding. Do not do that unless you need to. After you confirm your gate, look around. Walk 1 or 2 gates down. Find an unused gate. Look for a chapel, meditation room, yoga room, quiet room, museum corner, or even the far end of a terminal with no departure posted. Many airports have these little pockets of calm, and hardly anyone uses them. Put in noise-canceling headphones. Set a phone alarm for boarding time. Sit where you can see your app notifications, and give your nervous system a break. I know that sounds soft, but it is not. It is strategy. The calmer you are, the better decisions you make. The better decisions you make, the less money you waste. Here's another expensive airport trap: food and water. Bring an empty water bottle through TSA and fill it after security. I do not care if it is a fancy bottle from REI or an old one from Walmart. Empty goes through. Full does not. For food, pack simple snacks, nuts, crackers, protein bars, whatever agrees with you. Especially if you have dietary restrictions or you are trying to avoid paying $14 for a banana and a sad yogurt. And do not assume the airport restaurant near your gate is your only option. Sometimes a 5-minute walk gets you better food, shorter lines, and lower prices. Airport layouts are built to capture tired people. Do not be the tired person unless you have to be. Now, one of the most overlooked secrets: build a delay plan before the delay happens. Before every trip, know the next 2 flights that could get you where you are going. Take screenshots. Know whether nearby airports could work. If you are flying into Fort Lauderdale, could Miami work? If you are flying into Oakland, could San Francisco work? If you are going to Washington, D.C., could Reagan, Dulles, or Baltimore work? When a flight cancels, the person who already knows the alternatives has a huge advantage. Everyone else is standing in line saying, "What do we do now?" You already know. Also, if you are traveling for a cruise, wedding, medical appointment, or anything that absolutely cannot be missed, do not arrive the same day. I know hotel prices are annoying. I know budgets matter. Believe me, I have stared at hotel prices and made noises I am not proud of. But missing a cruise because your same-day flight got delayed is a complete waste of money. Fly in the day before. Sleep near the airport or port. Protect the big purchase. Next secret. Screenshots beat hope. Screenshot your boarding pass. Screenshot your seat assignment. Screenshot your fare rules, baggage allowance, hotel reservation, rental car confirmation, and any special service request. Apps go down. Wi-Fi fails. Cell service disappears inside terminals like it owes somebody money. And if the airline changes your seat, your schedule, or your fare conditions, a screenshot gives you something concrete, not anger. Evidence. Now let's talk about boarding. Do not crowd the gate unless your group is boarding or you need pre-boarding for a legitimate reason. Gate lice help nobody. Shh. They block people who actually need to board, they stress out the agents, and they make the whole process feel worse. But do stay close enough to hear changes. Airlines still make last-minute gate changes, aircraft swaps, and boarding announcements that do not always show up instantly on your phone. If you need overhead bin space because you have medication, medical equipment, or anything important in that bag, board as early as your ticket allows. If you do not need bin space, sometimes the smartest move is to board later and avoid standing in the aisle while everyone wrestles with luggage like it is an Olympic event. Finally, the biggest airport secret is attitude. Not be nice and accept whatever happens. No. That is not what I mean. I mean calm, informed, and firm. The airport wants you rushed. The airline wants you tired. The system wants you to accept the first answer. But when you know the rules, you stop reacting and start managing. You book early flights when possible. You check the left security lane. You choose seats based on physics, not just hope. You use seat map tools now that Seat Guru is gone. You track your inbound plane. You know refund language. You know bumping compensation. You keep batteries in your carry-on. You track bags. You find quiet corners. You bring water and snacks. You screenshot everything. That is how you travel like a pro without acting like a jerk. And let me say this plainly. This is not about being cheap. This is about refusing to be squeezed. A lot of Americans worked 30, 40, 50 years for their money. They paid into Social Security. They built retirement accounts. They paid property taxes, insurance premiums, and enough surprise fees to make anybody cranky. So no, I do not think you should casually hand extra money to an airport system just because it counts on you not knowing better. Before your next trip, do this simple checklist. Book the earliest practical flight. Pick a seat over the wing if you want a smoother ride. Cross-check your seat map. Download the airline app and a flight tracker. Put a tracker in your checked bag. Keep medicine and batteries in your carry-on. Bring an empty water bottle. Screenshot your documents, know your backup flights, and if the airline starts talking vouchers, ask exactly what you are entitled to under rules. That is it. Nothing fancy. No secret handshake. Just information. And information is the one thing airports hate giving away for free. If you want the next breakdown, the 3 airport fees retirees should almost never pay, plus the 1 travel insurance mistake that can wreck a fixed-income vacation, subscribe before you go. I am dropping that next, and it could save you a whole lot more than the price of an airport sandwich. Travel smart, stay calm, and remember, the person who knows the rules is usually the person who keeps the money.